Hi, my name is Elizabeth Gray and I work for the Nature Conservancy's Africa program. And I've been working in Western Tanzania where we're already seeing climate getting hotter and climate impacts to the region. And if you ask people who live and work here, what are you noticing that's related to climate? You'll hear all kinds of different stories. You'll have people tell you the fisheries catches in Lake Tanganyika are declining. You'll have people say that flowering plants, such as the mango trees, are flowering later than they have historically. And you'll have people saying there were rivers that had been perennial, but now with the water shortages drying up, they're becoming seasonal. And we know from our climate wizard analyses that this temperature increase is going to continue over the next 50 and 100 years. And we also know that rainstorms are going to become much more unpredictable and more intense and more frequent. And so in Lake Tanganyika, which contains 17% of the world's available fresh water, and where 10 million people in that lake basin rely on the lake for food and for income, what's going to happen is that the lake temperatures are going to continue to rise like they have since the 1900s. And in addition, we know that the wind velocities across the lake have decreased by about 30% since the 1970s. And so the cumulative impact of these two things is that the water columns are mixing less. And this has been leading directly to a decline in fish catches, where people are making less money and they have less protein to feed their families. This same increase in temperature is directly affecting the forest areas, and it's affecting the water supply. So for example, what we're estimating is going to happen in the high elevation forest is that base cloud level is going to increase by rise by about 100 meters. We've seen the same impact on Mount Kilimanjaro, where as the clouds rise, the trees capture less water from the fog and the clouds, and this has led to a reduction in annual drinking water of about 1 million people in the Kilimanjaro watershed. These are the kind of impacts we're going to see in Western Tanzania from climate as well. And then finally, this lack of water is going to greatly affect the small-scale farmers, thousands of them that live in this area and rely on rain for their agriculture. And so what we're likely to see is that growing seasons are going to become shorter for these farmers. And in addition, as the water supplies dry up, we're likely to see increased conflict between people. So what are we doing about all of this? Well, what we have done is we've pulled people into a room, people who have worked with the villagers for decades, people who work in the national parks, people who are local government officials in this region, to change fishing practices and land and water management practices to adapt to changing climate conditions, to protect critical forest areas to secure the water supply, and to begin discussing alternative crops and alternative livelihoods for the many farmers and agriculturalists in this region, so that we can do this without actually harming the ecosystems where they live. So I'm really excited to be part of this project because I have seen people become transformed learning about climate change, what it is, how it's going to impact them, but most importantly, how they can really make a difference. And so we have people out working in the field now who are changing their strategies, who are empowered and emboldened by understanding what climate change is and how it will affect them into the future, so that we can maintain a healthy and diverse system and community in this Western Tanzania region for decades to come.